I'm surprised how many times when people ask me a question about IRAs, and this happened with my future son-in-law not too long ago. He said, I want to open an IRA. And he said, okay, so what investments will be in that IRA? I said, that's totally up to you, buddy. An IRA is not an investment itself. An IRA is a shell, and inside that shell you make investments. And you make investments based upon your own personal tolerance for risk, your own time horizon, and other things like that. Every person in this room has a different tolerance for risk than the person next to them, or anybody else in this room. Especially if your spouse is sitting next to you. You almost always have a different tolerance for risk than your spouse. There are people in this room that say, if they take the maturity on their CDs and extend them from 3 months to 6 months, think that they have made the most tremendous leap of faith and are scared silly. They don't sleep for weeks after doing that. They think it was just a foolish money mistake they just made. And then there's people in the room that are going to say, Chamberlin, the bus for Viejas leaves at 7 o'clock, so let's keep it going, okay? Everybody's different, and you don't be embarrassed or deny what your tolerance for risk is, and then accept that. But then you've got to go through the process. Once you've decided, okay, I'm going to open an IRA, you have to decide what kind of IRA do you want to open. Most IRAs that most of you in this room have, I would assume, are a traditional tax-deferred IRA. Your money that goes in there, you may be able to deduct some of that from your income the year you make the contribution. Then the growth will occur until you take that money out, and it will grow tax deferred. And then when the money is taken out either by you or your beneficiaries, it will be taxed at that point in time. Okay? There was a study done by one of the universities of California called The Cruel Hoax of Tax Deferral. Okay? Because really, what are you doing when you defer taxes? Okay? You're waiting for your investment to become a larger amount of money and then likely be taxed at a higher interest rate. Always a little audience participation moment here. Could I see a show of hands of people in the room that believe 10 years from now income taxes will be lower than they are today? Okay, show of hands, go ahead. Is this on? So what are you doing? What are you doing? You're postponing paying taxes to a time when taxes will be a lot higher. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So fortunately, there's an alternative, and that's the Roth IRA. Roth IRA is one where you don't get any immediate deduction for putting your money into the account, but from that point forward, for all time, that money will grow completely tax-free. And it's tax-free to you, and it's tax-free to your beneficiaries. It's as simple as that. So, I'm not suggesting, well, I kind of think I am suggesting one is better than the other. I certainly prefer tax-free over tax-deferred. And so my inkling would be use a tax-deferred account, a tax-free account. You can make the same investments in both, and those investments are totally up to you. But the tax-free investment is going to really, I think, pay off much more handsomely over a period of time. So something to think about there. All right, so let's just talk a little bit about what you do inside the IRA and how you're going to invest that money. I'm a big fan of stocks. I love stocks. I've owned stocks for as long as I can remember, and I have no intention of ever selling my stocks. I'll leave that to my kids and, more importantly, my grandkids to take care of. My kids have pretty much sucked us dry for all they're going to get. And so we kind of focus all of our efforts now on our grandkids, our four wonderful, beautiful grandchildren. And by the way, you know why grandparents and grandchildren get along so well? They have a common enemy. So stocks are very comfortable for me because I have a new time horizon for my money. One of the most marvelous books ever written on personal finance is this book called Winning the Loser's Game. Winning the Loser's Game by Charles Ellis. It's out in its 6th edition. I think it was first written back in 1976 or something like that. And I just actually stumbled across the book. I read about it in a newspaper article or something. And what Mr. Ellis does in this book is talk about the mistake we all make as we get older. Okay, we're retired, we're on a fixed income, and the natural thing is to become more cautious with your investments because you have, you can't replace that money. If you lose your money in investments, you're kind of in trouble. You can't replace it. You're not working any longer. So you tend to be very cautious and very conservative with your money. I mean, even believe me, the folks here at San Diego County Credit Union would love to give you more interest on their CDs, but that's just what it is. We live in a 1% to 2% world. And, if you take a look at an investment yielding 2%, I don't know how many of you ever heard of the rule of 72, but it tells you how long it takes to double your money. You take the number 72 and you divide it by whatever your rate of return is. You have a 2% CD, it's going to take you 36 years to double your money, okay? That's just silly, okay? It's just silly. Whereas if you have historically, the stock market has returned 8 to 9%. Let's say you get actually more than that, but let's use 9% because I can do the math on that one. Take the number 72, divide it by 9, you're going to double your money every 8 years. Okay, so just kind of look at it from that perspective. And so what Ellis suggests in this book is that instead of making investment decisions with a portion of your money, whatever portion you're comfortable with of your life savings, your retirement savings, instead of basing decisions based upon your expected mortality, use the mortality of the people that you want to leave the money to, okay? My 2 oldest grandchildren are 10 years old, okay? A baby born today has a 50-50 chance of living to be 100, okay? Talk about a long time horizon. Let your money go. Just let it do its work for you. Is there going to be a straight line up? Heck no. Look at what happened today in the stock market. For no apparent reason, we're down 200 and some odd points today, 100 points yesterday. That's probably enough to scare a lot of people out of the stock market. People like Warren Buffett would tell you it's a buying opportunity, okay? And he doesn't worry about it. You can't really be preoccupied with day-to-day movements in the market because historically stocks go up much more than they go down.